don't care if you're Christian. In fact, I will fight for you to have your religious liberty and practice your Christianity. I believe in that. I don't believe in Christianity, which means that you do not get to dictate the way I live my life based on your religion. I don't care what the Bible says. You have every right in the world. All those women who identify with your religion have every right in the world to not get an abortion, to not take birth control, but they do not have the right to dictate my life and what I decide to do with my body. I don't care about your religion. I'm so tired of having nonstop conversations about what the Bible says. You live your life in the way that you interpret the Bible. Again, I don't care, but you don't get to take the Bible and tell me, well, the Bible says this in this chapter, in this verse. I don't care. I don't care. I don't believe in it, and I have the right, based on our Constitution, to not believe in it.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. Well, I think this was a response from the Young Turks, right? This was a response to the abortion.
Yeah, that's who they are, the Young Turks.
The abortion rulings. Because they're feeling like the conservative, right-wing, anti-abortion that the Supreme Court just ruled on, that overturning Roe versus Wade, the left and this commentator is very upset about that, and I think that's what she was responding to. That basically, I should be able to do what I want with my body, and the government
and religious people are dictating what she can and can't do.
More Christian red states are, cracking down on the abortion laws.
Yeah. Well, I think also point of clarity as well is that the Roe v. Wade, overruling put the power in the states' hands. It didn't all enforcingly say you can't get abortions. It basically said we don't believe on a federal level that we should be able to make the rules on whether it's appropriate to get an abortion or not. We're going to put that in the state's hands and let each state basically vote through their elected officials whether something could be allowed or not. But I think for her, I think this is what a lot of people get mixed up, okay, about religious people. Now, I'm personally, and this might be for a later date that we could talk about. I don't identify as a Christian nationalist. I don't have ties to Ulrich Zwingli back in the 1500s that believed that Christianity should enforce all areas of emphasis in the everyday life of everyday people, whether you're a believer or you're not a believer.
Right.
I don't subscribe to that ideology. In the same way that we look at what's happening in Iran right now, where they have Sharia law, and by law you have to have a head covering, being a Muslim woman. Well, a woman was just walking around, literally this past week. She's walking around without her head covering, and the police killed her. So right now there's an uprising happening in Iran. Yeah, and women are now walking around without their head covered. Well, guess what though? That is the law right now in Iran, but it's informed by Islamic belief. So I don't necessarily subscribe to that. I don't, because a lot of Christian nationalists will say, well, our Bible should be 100% the emphasis on morality, 100% in America. But we look over what's happening in Iran and we say a woman should be able to walk around without her head covered, right? Well, no. If you're going to be a Christian nationalist, you have to be able to say then, I think what's happening in Iran, that's okay. But I don't think that's okay, that a woman should be put to death for not having her head covered in the same way. So what she's mixing up is she's thinking that Christians want the Bible to make the laws in our land. Right. But so the abortion debate is a completely different debate, because even though we believe it's scriptural.
But with that, it's like, well, what part of the Bible? The Old Testament, the New Testament? I mean, we're a nation founded on Christianity, the New Covenant, not the Old Covenant. We've never been under the delusion that we should institute the Mosaic Law in America. Yeah. The Pilgrims, the Founding Fathers, the George Washington Declaration of the Constitution. It was not based upon Old Testament Mosaic Law. Yeah. So to just say, well, we should have laws based on the Bible. Well, it's like, well, as a nation founded on Christian principles, we've never suggested, we've never been under the delusion that we should make it a crime if you use God's name in vain. which is what's happening in Middle Eastern Muslim countries. It's a crime for heresy, speaking against the prophets and Allah. So, but that's not an argument anybody's making in America. Christians are making,
or any of the 10 Commandments for that matter, like a graven image. Like if you have a Buddha or something like that, you should be put in prison. Yeah.
So it's important to define, what Christians mean by, we should be a nation. We should go back to our Christian roots. We should be a nation that believes in God. And a nation founded upon Christian morals, Christian principles of right and wrong. Because the moment we abandon that, which is what a large portion of our country is trying to do, is trying to dismantle, and we'll get into it. I think there's another clip we'll get into about this whole dismantling everything connected with white civilization, Western white oppressive civilization, that we need to start new because it's all bad. Which, so, we got to define what we mean as Christians when we say we need to get back to the Constitution. We need to get back, because when you read the documents, when you read the Founding Fathers, they were all rooted in a belief in God, in a objective moral standard. And if you get rid of that,
and for them,
what are you going to replace it with?
The freedom to practice religion.
Right.
Which
not be under.
They're coming from England.
Right.
And if you look at English religion history, right, King Henry was Catholic. He wanted to divorce his wife and marry another woman. The Pope said no. So he said, well, then I'm leaving the Catholic Church. I'm going to create my own church, and it'll be called the Anglican Church.
Right.
And the king will be the head of the church. And we just saw that. Queen of England just recently passed. She's known as the head of the Anglican Church. In the same way that now King Charles is king. He's King Charles III. He is on paper the papal, the same way as Pope Francis. He's the papal leader of the Anglican Church, right? So when we come to America and we establish, our forefathers established America, this idea of separation in church and state, it was saying we want King Henry to be separate from the Anglican Church. Whatever we do over here, we don't want our leaders, the government leaders, to be involved in the church, not the opposite way around. So what this woman just said from Young Turks, she's saying there's no way religious people should be allowed to intercede their views of and convictions on moral law. We have every right to do that. We're voting. We're voting citizens.
If we want to be a democracy, the less power the federal government has, the better.
Yeah.
So that's why Roe versus Wade being passed to the states, I think it was a good thing, because it's removing the power away from a central federal government where abuse can and tyranny is more likely to happen. And it's giving it in the influence of the states and the counties.
Yeah.
And so if you want abortion, you still have that option. Move to a community, get involved in politics, gather a coalition of like-minded people and vote for that.
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing red states become more red and blue states become more blue.
Yeah.
And so the red states are criminalizing abortion to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And blue states are making it whiter.
Yeah.
So, we're not saying, and I think that's the right perspective. I don't think you should be criminalized for having an abortion. I don't think.
I think you should.
I don't think you should be. Well, if you're in a state that has made that a law, you should submit to those laws. But in general, in America, it should not. I don't think it should be. That I don't think you should give it. You should give the power to the people, the individual states, to decide whether they want to go through with that or not, and let the Christians be lights and salt in the earth, and by the fruit of their morality and the blessing that comes with that,
Now I get
Let
that
the
on
two sides
every
battle.
other topic.
Let the two sides battle.
On any other topic, I get that. But would you say if someone just came and stole your car, that as long as if enough people, which is happening in some cities right now, like, man, what city? Does anyone know what city right now? Just I think it was New York or something. A certain city is trying to decriminalize certain things. Like, what's that? Chicago. They're trying to decriminalize like breaking and entering, stealing a car.
It's the Purge.
Stuff.
It's the Purge. The Purge movie coming about. Yeah.
So
they're gonna. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
But can't we all agree? Like, that's morally wrong. That's
no.
That's
You're right.
ethically wrong.
You're right. Right.
So to me, abortion is not a conversation of whether people should have the right to choose. The conversation is what is defined as murder. What is defined. And I think some things nationally should and shouldn't be allowed. What Roe v. Wade happened and stuff like that with the Supreme Court, okay, that's a progress that's happened in this direction where states can decide. But still at the same time, I think with abortion, the conversation, and this is where I'm saying I disagree with her, where she's saying that somehow we're trying to bring us our religion to make all these decisions. I'm not trying to bring my religion to make all these decisions. I'm bringing in my religion to make a decision, whether abortion is right or wrong based off of is it murder or is it not.